February 5th, 1992, class with Reverend Ann Hart. Welcome to the class. Let's see, what's the date today? February 4th? 5. February 5th. Okay, tonight in dark session we're going to do precipitation, and we're also going to do flame cards. I'm giving you a taste of this so you know the different phases of mediumship, and you'll be surprised at what comes out. I'll explain that to you as we go into it later. Use the term sensitive rather than the term medium, because a sensitive is one who is sensitive to the vibrations of the spiritual world. So the word sensitive is preferred over the word medium. I use both. I think we get in the habit of hearing medium, but the proper term is sensitive. Spiritualism is the culmination of all living truths. You'll find the truth of the universe, of the world, of creation in spiritualism. When spirit comes closer to the earth, they come cascading down like an infinite baptism. I've seen this over people, where you see light just coming down over them and encasing them, and that is spirit coming very, very close. Spiritualism is a religion and philosophy and a science. We know that it's a religion because it teaches belief in God, and it teaches how to reach the Godhead, how to contact the Godhead. It's a philosophy because it's a way of life. And it's a science because it analyzes and investigates, it classifies. And you can use reason and logic with it and come up with solid answers. Spiritualism is a science, philosophy, and religion based on continuous life, based on communication between the two worlds. A good book to read is Never So Strange by Arthur Ford. Just a few little things I want to bring to your attention. Helios is Helios. It means hell. It comes from the Greek. It came to mean hellfire and brimstone, the pagan contribution to religion. And as far as we're concerned as spiritualism, it doesn't exist. There is no hell. It was a city dump outside a Greek city. And the word is Helios, is the original root word. That's a pagan contribution to religion. It was a fear tactic that has lasted for many years, and it is non-existent. There are different phases, different planes of life, but there is no hell. God is not going to take one of his creations and let them burn forever in a hell. For one thing, you don't even have a physical body. So what good would it do? Right? I mean, it's ridiculous. Okay, every one of us has a quiet Indian guide in our band. And his name, he goes by, is Me Stand Back, Look On. He doesn't say anything, but he watches everything. And he knows what's going on, and he will talk to your other guides and inform them, and he is with you. Me stand back, look on. Now I did meet mine during a seance once. But he's never come in again. He just came in as a matter of progression, gave me his name, and left. But everybody has this. Me stand back, look on. Okay, we're going to talk about a little bit about home sittings. This is for group sittings or by yourself. Sit no longer than 1 hour. Remember that cloth and upholstery absorb sound. So if Spirit wants to make a for you, they're not going to be able to do it if you're sitting in a padded chair or the whole room is full of carpeting and furniture with thick padding on it. What you should have is wood. Reverend Tingley sits in a wooden chair to do his seances. Most all the chairs in the room are wood. The table is wood. And it's a small room so that the sound will reverberate so that you can hear it. And many times you hear knocks or snaps or whatever in the room. That is spirit manifestation. Open your sitting with a sincere prayer. I open with a sincere prayer. I open the sitting every night, the universal healing. And you say what you want, whether it's guidance or healing or all of it or whatever. You say, Dear God, Dear Heavenly Father, Dear Angel Loved One. Say anything you want. It has to come from the heart because it has got to be sincere. Whatever your words are will be beautiful and find the Spirit and God. Of course, you're sitting in a dark room. You know this. A bathroom is good if you're sitting alone. Or if you can crowd some people in there, that's fine. Send your love to God. Tell God and the Spirit loved ones that you love them and you're glad to have them in your presence. Say the Lord's Prayer. It opens the chakras. And if you ever want to close your chakras for a certain purpose, the 23rd Psalm closes them. At the end of your sitting, thank God and guides and close your meditation. A good way to open it is I enter here in silence for meditation. I ask divine and universal healing, or I ask guidance. That's one good way to open it. It's just whatever you think of. Okay, Arthur Findlay, Findlay, was a good writer. He wrote The Rock of Truth and The Torch of Truth, and Reverend Tingley recommends his books. The most predominant phase of mediumship is clairvoyance. That's clear seeing, with the eyes, clairvoyance. That means clear seeing, literally translated from the Latin. And it's not clairvoyance, it's clairvoyance. Okay, I'm going to give you some exercises for meditation. If you find it difficult to meditate, maybe one of these will appeal to you and maybe it'll work for you. Like I said before, mediumship is a very individualized thing. Spirituality is. So what appeals to one may not necessarily work for another. So the first one I'm going to give you is the tunnel exercise. You're standing at a tunnel and slowly you see a distant white light. You don't go fast toward it, you go very slowly. Within 3 to 5 minutes, you get closer and closer and closer, steadily, slowly going toward it until you're close to the white light. Pretty soon that feeling and that light will permeate your being, and forget time during this time. Your guides will automatically help you out with it. It just takes about 3 to 5 minutes to do it is the point. It doesn't take a long time. But picture that white light and go slowly toward it until you're immersed in the white light. Okay, the second one is the portrait exercise. You can picture who you want to become. If you want to become a minister, or if you want to become a really good medium, or if you want to just be more successful in your business life, or whatever you want to do, picture that. Or concentrate on the photo of a loved one in spirit. Or a picture of one of your guides, a beautiful picture of one of your guides that really excites you. Place at eye level, three feet away or farther. Focus on the painting. And then squint your eyes and narrow your field of vision. This is an old artist trick. I paint portraits and things like that when I have time and do paintings. And it's an old trick for an artist. If you want to see something very clearly, is to squint and it comes in clearer. So that's what you do. You focus on your painting and narrow your field of vision so only the face is visible. Now narrow your field of vision even farther so that you only see the eyes of the portrait that you're looking at. By doing this, pretty soon you'll be into meditation and you won't even be giving a thought to time or if you're in it or not or anything else. It's a focal point, it's concentration, and it's called pupil metrics. The third one I want to give you is the curtain exercise. This will detach and diminish the physical level. Rending the veil between the two worlds. It causes a change in the vibratory rate. The object of this is to detach oneself and change the vibration. Okay, close your eyes. During this exercise. And see a misty purple curtain. Like an ethereal purple cloud, very misty. Move slowly, easily, steadily toward it. The curtain will rise at the center and lower edge. Revealing a triangle of white light. Okay, now we're going to go back to the trumpet a little bit. Sit at a table. A table is good. It's important. A wood is a better conductor than any other kind. Now Reverend Tingley has trumpets north, south, well whatever, east and west on all four corners of the table. However, if you're sitting by yourself at a table,
then you have four of them?
He does, but he's advanced. I was just telling you, you don't have to. No. This is the bell end of the trumpet. This is the neck, and this is the throat. You put the bell end laying on the table toward your solar plexus. Sit in the dark, do your prayers like I taught you, and see what happens. Now, don't expect results right away. It takes time. Spirit has to lay all the underground cables and everything before it happens. But eventually you'll get movement. You might hear whispers. You'll hear taps. You might hear it shuffle around. Now, my guide has been able to get it up a little bit and roll it around and stuff like that. And I've seen blue lights around it. I've seen even blue hands appear on it. That all comes in time. It's according to your development. You know, everybody's different, yeah.
And you only sit for an hour for that too?
You don't even sit for an hour for that. You sit anywhere from about 12 minutes when you're first starting.
Okay.
About 12 minutes is the right time.
Do you have any thought of speaking, or that comes automatically?
That comes automatically. They take care of that. They will just come right in, and like with Reverend Tingley, they just come in and they'll say, hello, this is Dr. Taylor, good evening, welcome to the Universal Healing. And then the little joy guides will come in first sometimes, and they'll tell jokes or get you laughing to raise the vibrations. Some nights when you go down there, things are not exactly smooth, copacetic with the individuals that are sitting. So Spirit will come in and they will make the best of a bad situation. They will raise the vibration by telling you to sing a song that raises vibrations. That's always a good thing to do before a seance, especially if you don't get anything right away. Then start singing something everybody knows so you're in harmony. But anyway, they will come in and tell jokes and get you laughing and get things going to make it prepared for the higher spirits that are coming, well, I shouldn't say higher, for the other spirits that are coming in.
You could have a voice just with one person?
Yes, if you have the power, you can certainly have that, yes. Reverend Tingley, when he's feeling well, he goes down there by himself and he talks to him right through the trumpet. He is so strong that he can get mental vibrations just as easy. And he can talk to him anytime he wants to, just about, and gets a lot of messages. That way, he's so strong. In fact, they will speak right out, an independent voice right in his house and tell you hello or whatever they want to tell you. You know, usually it's something short. Okay, in the trumpet, sometimes, I know when I was sitting here in class from Reverend Tingley's class, the trumpet came to me and I saw a beautiful blue face in there. It was Mabel Riffle. And she came and spoke to me and she introduced herself, and you could actually see the physical face and see it speaking. And that is called idioplastic. It's a blue glow inside of it with the face of the contacting spirit. Idioplastic. I-D-I-O-P-L-A-S-T-I-C. Now spirit, the reason we have to have trumpets is because spirit magnifies their voices with this. They create a voice box, a larynx, with ectoplasm from the medium. Excuse me. They create it in here. And this magnifies that voice. It's just like Rudy Valley used to do. It magnifies, just like what do you call those things? Megaphone, yes. Like a cheerleader uses. They put the voice box right in here. They put the ectoplasm in. They raise it with the ectoplasmic rods or with ectoplasm. And then they create a voice box in here and it magnifies their voices. That's why a trumpet is used, for magnification purposes only. Sometimes if the persons that are sitting are spiritual enough, strong enough, they don't even need the trumpet. They can talk right out to you just like we're talking now. But conditions are imperative. Conditions, remember that in all phases of meditation or mediumship, whatever you're doing, conditions are important. You're not going to have a trumpet go up in the middle of a fight or a noisy room or an upset condition. You're not going to have it. Spirit has got to have peace and harmony and love. Now those of you who are trying to develop physical mediumship like trumpet or trance of any kind, be self-composed. Be very relaxed, self-composed. Sit very relaxed in your chair. Don't be nervous. Think high thoughts. A good thing to do is say prayers. And your doctor will take you over. Your doctor of philosophy and spirit will come in and take you over. Now, I told you before, I think, but I'm not sure if I told you. When your doctor takes you over, he controls your heart rate. Your guides do this, and your doctor of philosophy is in charge. And your master teacher is over that, but he doesn't deal in this physical form of it. He's more on higher spiritual things. Anyway, they control heartbeat, blood flow, breathing, any bodily function. A lot of times if a medium is kind of sick when they're sitting and they have gas real bad, it's not unusual for the doctors to relieve that gas of the medium right in the middle of the seance and give them a healing and take that out. They will give you, generally every time you sit you get a healing, whether you're aware of it or not. Your doctors are working, but before they can take you into trance, they have got to learn your body completely. Any conditions that you may have, they have to deal with. If you have asthma or if you have anything that would interrupt, any kind of physical condition, they control all that. They control all systems. Plus then they're controlling the chakras and everything else. I mean, they're controlling the spiritual body also. So that's why it is difficult to get trumpet, because there is a lot. For one thing, you have to be spiritually ready yourself, and for another thing, your doctors and guides actually have to go to school in the spirit side of life to learn how to do this. And once they learn that, they'll tell you, we're waiting, we're ready, we went to school, we're ready, when are you going to do it? It's up to you now. And they'll tell you that. Okay, conditions are indispensable to progress. If you need to make changes in your conditions, whether it's inward conditions or outward, make them so that you can develop and advance. It's worth it. It's beautiful. Harmony is necessary. Feel good and happy and expectant. Expect spirit to manifest. You must have peace of mind. If you're sitting with a group, you must have people that are in harmony and sincere and reaching out for the truth. Negative people will cause it not to happen. If two people in the room aren't getting along, it can cause it not to happen. You can have no manifestations because of that. The negativity will bring it down. If you have somebody that absolutely does not believe in spiritualism and does not believe that trumpet's going to go up, they can change it. So it's very important to watch who you sit with. Have harmonious, sincere people that you are really close to or whatever, or sit by yourself. It'd be better off to sit by yourself than to try to sit with people that don't get along. You must have harmony. Sensitivity is the basis of mediumship. So be sensitive to this world and especially to the spiritual world.
Be sensitive
to this world and to the spiritual world. In other words, be sensitive to the people around you, your families, your friends, wherever you are. Be sensitive and loving, because in that way you are being sensitive to the spirit world, because that's what God wants us to do. To serve God, you must serve mankind. Okay. 3 sitters is a good way to start a home circle. That is because of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. The Trinity. Seven sitters is good, or 9. And the number 6 sitters is the perfect number according to the Bible. That's what the Bible says. So really, what it boils down to is do the best with what you can, because sometimes you'll have people that won't be there, or you'll start out with a group, 6 people or whatever, or 7, and then somebody will drop out or they'll be busy that night, so it always fluctuates anyway. So my experience has been, I've sat in a lot of groups over the years, and my experience has been to do the best with what you've got. Just try to maintain the harmonious conditions. That's the most important. Now I mentioned 3 sitters for the Trinity. 12 is a multiple of 3. "12 points to a snowflake or to a grain of salt." This goes back, this is why 3 is important. 12 is a multiple of 3. There are a lot of things in this universe, in this world, that God has made 12-sided. A grain of salt is, a snowflake is. And it goes back to the Trinity, the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. 3 is a very powerful number. You'll notice in metaphysics or in a lot of things that if you say something, you say it 3 times. If you wish someone love in your mind, you might say it 3 times. It holds a power. There's a power in the number 3 because of the Trinity. It is preferable to have male and females in equal numbers at a sitting. That doesn't often happen. Very hard to come by, but it's good. It balances out the positive and negative. The female being the negative, the male being the positive. To have young people age 12 and up, nobody under 12, is good in a sitting. They have a lot of energy. Psychic and spiritual development causes longer life in the physical plane. Most mediums live to be quite old. And longer, yes.
I don't mean to interrupt, but how come young people are 12 and up, not younger?
Because of the age of reason and things like that, not just the age of reason, but development. They're not ready. They might think they're ready, but they're not ready. Younger than that, they would be scared, and it might turn them off forever, and the vibrations might not be matched. Also, the reason of puberty has something to do with it. There's a tremendous amount of sexual energy, which sexual energy is the kundalini energy, which is the same energy that is used for psychic things. So that's why. And just the fact that under 12, they're just not ready for it. Yes, Laurel.
So I'm
going to say the same.
Adolescent energy.
Yeah, it's the kundalini energy. It's puberty and things like that. That's what it has to do with. And longer life in the physical plane also means longer life in the spiritual plane. Okay, remember that you need harmony. You have to have harmony. There is no room for jealousy at all in mediumship. It will hold you back. It will hold you back terribly. Everybody's mediumship is different, just as different as we are. You might have similarities, or basic categorizations, but you will not have the same type of mediumship. And be receptive in mood and passive. Tapes for. Okay, this is Lizzie and May Bangs of 3 South Elizabeth Street, Chicago, Illinois. They are mediums or were mediums of various phases, receiving spirit tests through clairvoyance, slate writing, typewriting, materialization, and later in the form of oil paintings. They have had many a battle with skeptics, but the phenomena occurring in their presence invariably made them victors. Facts need no augmentation. This is a book of all their different portraits that they did. They started out, I think, with Precipitation, which is what we're going to do tonight. Part of it, what we're going to do tonight. And we're going to do flame cards, too. They sat in a cabinet at first and went into trance, and when they woke up, Spirit would have the paintings done. That's what I hope to develop ultimately someday when I'm 105 years old. I hope I have that. I've been trying to attract them in for centuries, it seems.
But you shouldn't project a year like that, say maybe next year.
Yeah.
Or not so far away, because then that's what you're...
Yeah, but I'm really joking. They know that. I shouldn't even joke. Yeah.
They tested the portraits.
Yeah.
Did you read about that? And it was not anything known.
No, it was like the essence of butterfly wings, the paint that was used.
Really
Something not of this planet.
Yeah, they still have them in churches.
Yeah. So they were quite magnificent.
But
And these
some
paintings
of the
are beautiful.
pictures are still changing.
Yes. I'm glad you brought up that point. I forgot that. Yeah. Yeah, some of the pictures, a rose was added, or
Or subtracted.
or subtracted, changes in the pictures. Yeah, they're still going on. So it's just amazing. It's just a beautiful thing. But that's something, I'll pass this around, and probably most of you have seen it. But the portraits are beautiful. So when you know of a particular medium or whatever that's in spirit, try to draw them in, call on them, and they will be attracted to your vibration. Also, when you're reading a book by an author in spirit, read the book over your left, with a light over your left shoulder, and call to that spirit, like Arthur Conan Doyle's a good one. Say, if you're reading his History of Spiritualism or whatever, call him in. Say, please, I'd like to have you here. And they will help you interpret. So that's with the light over your left shoulder. Read the book of an author in spirit with the light over your left shoulder, and they will be attracted to you. And they will automatically help you to understand what their point was. And you will have a good interpretation that way. This portrait work of Lizzie and May Bangs started about 1894. The pictures were done in broad daylight before the sitter's eyes, usually under test conditions. When this phenomenon was first developed by the sisters, a locked cabinet or curtained-off space was used, and several sittings were necessary. The portraits were produced as follows. Now this is a little bit of the science of it. 2 identical paper-mounted canvases in wooden frames were held up face to face against the window, with the lower half resting upon a table, and the sides held by each sister with one hand. A short curtain was hung on either side, and an opaque blind was drawn over the canvases. The light streamed from behind the canvases, which were translucent, and after a quarter of an hour the outline of shadows began to appear and disappear as the invisible artist made a preliminary sketch. Then the picture began to grow at a feverish rate. When the pictures were separated, the portrait was found on the surface of the canvas next to the sitter. Though the paint was greasy and stuck to the finger on being touched, it left no stain on the paper, which closely covered the other canvas. Later, the works of art were openly precipitated as if by airbrush, and some took as little as 5 minutes to complete, and only one canvas was used. So it's just amazing what they can do. God and spirit can do anything. They can touch any condition, whether, a health condition or whatever, emotional, whatever. The portraits have been examined by art experts, and they cannot explain the media used, as the pictures are not pastels, charcoals, oils, or watercolors, or any other known substance. It could be compared to the dust on a butterfly's wings. I think that's beautiful. I just love that. The precipitated spirit pictures are from 80 to 95 years old and have withstood time very well. Many of the portraits were hung in the old auditorium and hotels at Camp Chesterfield for many years. These buildings did not have heat in the winter months. Many sitters stored pictures in attics and basements, and the colors are as beautiful now as the day they were executed. These outstanding works of art are the sitters' relatives, friends, or guides who have passed on, and with the exception of one portrait, where the sitter appeared on the canvas with his twin daughters and wife who were deceased. Isn't that beautiful? Doesn't that just give you chills? The persons who sat for the spirit pictures were requested to bring a photograph of the departed, but were not asked to produce it. They just had to have it there because spirit can penetrate anything, and they were seeing that and making a copy of it. That's because, I'm getting ahead of myself. Spirit, when they are in spirit, they forget what their physical things, faces and all that were like, okay? They might not be able to reproduce it exactly. If they have a picture, it reminds them of exactly what they look like, and they can reproduce that exactly. The night I attended the materialization here many years ago, I had never seen my grandmother on my father's side, or my mother's side for that matter. Anyway, right here in this spot, my grandmother manifested, and I could see her face, and she hugged me and kissed me. And I said, Grandma, you look just like your pictures. And she said, why, thank you. I tried so hard. You know, it was beautiful. I cried for 5 hours after that because it was the most spiritual experience.
Could you touch her?
What's that?
Could you touch her?
Well, normally you're not allowed to touch spirit. In fact, I walked up here with my hands behind my back because it was stress. Do not touch spirit because you can kill the medium or hurt him. But in this case, I was in rapport with the medium. Of course, that was Reverend James Tingley. I was in very much rapport with him. So my grandmother said to me, you may touch me. And I reached out and I hugged her and I kissed her and I closed my eyes when I kissed her. And then when I opened them, just that split second, she was fading back into the floor. She was already away from me. But she gave me a hug and a kiss and I could feel her. You can feel spirit just as real as if you feel your own fingers. I've had Mabel Riffle and different spirits come right in this church during a materialization or a trumpet seance or anything and rub the top of my head on the crown chakra to open it, to speed it up. You know, I didn't know what it was. I didn't know what they were doing. I found out later. But anyway, they do that, and the touch is just as real as a human hand. The persons who sat for the spirit pictures were requested to bring a photograph of the departed, but were not asked to produce it. The portraits were not copies of a concealed photograph. When completed, the facial resemblance was amazing, and the color tones often grew richer and deeper. So they just kind of use it as like an artist does, an idea, a reminder, just a guideline. Many of the portraits changed when taken home. The hair on some would be altered to look as if it had when the subject was on earth. A few blouses and dresses were changed to seem more familiar, and in several cases the eyes would open and close. I love that. I think that's great. In one portrait of a spirit guide, pearls appeared around the neck a few days later, when the sitter said the girl always warm. In another full-length picture, more flowers appeared on a rose bush. And that's about all. I'm not going to go through the whole thing. I'll pass this around and then we'll give it back to Ruby before I lose it or do something with it. Okay, now tonight what we're going to do is precipitation. That is the way the Bang sisters started out. We are going to take these index cards and I'm going to pass them around among you. And I want you to hold your index card on your solar plexus, 1.25 inches above your navel. And I want you to hold it there for about 10 minutes. And then I'm going to collect them. You can put your initials on your card, on the back of it. And I'm going to collect them and I'm going to immerse them in water. We're going to turn off all the lights. And we're going to see if we get anything. Now, I've done this in the past, and even if you get a dot, it's a start of precipitation. I have had dots. So we'll see, by putting your initials on them, you will know, each one of you, if you get something on your card.
But
And
if it's ink when that blur,
oh, it doesn't. It doesn't matter. Yeah, I wonder if it would though. If we used a pencil, maybe. Yeah, pencil would be better. If anybody's got a pencil, we'll use pencils. I'll dig one up somewhere. Yeah. So we're going to immerse them in water, turn off all the lights, sit in the dark, and we're going to say a prayer over them. I'm going to ask, let's see, Jarena Keller, during the sitting time, not now, to come up with me and act as a battery. And I want you to put your hands on top of mine. And I'll ask Ruby Foster also. And we'll all pile our hands on top of each other like they do in a baseball game or when they're choosing sides. And we will lead a prayer. I will lead a prayer in the dark, and we will see what we can get on them. Okay. We're also going to do flame cards tonight, which is why I have the candle here. You take an index card. I'm going to give you each 2 cards. And I want you to save one for the flame cards. But what we're going to do is turn off all the lights again, and then we're going to wave them over the flame at least 3 times or whenever I feel that there's something on it, and see what we can get. And I'm going to have each one of you try this very quickly to see if you have flame card mediumship. I have seen a car on one of these that was so detailed that it was a 19-something Cadillac that my brother got the flame card, and it was so detailed that you could actually, I mean, you could make out the year and model and everything else. And that was with Reverend Tingley's mediumship. I'm not promising anything like that, but I am going to see what we all have, what we can do if we get anything at all. And just because if we don't get anything tonight doesn't mean we won't in the future. And definitely practice this at home. Do it at home too. During precipitation, Spirit takes the color from your clothes. I see a lot of bright colors here tonight. That's good. They take the color from the atmosphere, whatever is around, from your clothing, from your makeup, from anything they can use. And they put those colors on the cards. That's what they use. They use what is around, what is available. So it is very good to wear bright colors when you're doing precipitation. A lot of times precipitation will be in black and white, or like a negative. It'll be just a gray dot, or it'll be a picture or a whole family portrait. It can be anything. I've seen them that look, I've seen a lot of them. Most of the time Reverend Tingley's look just like a family portrait. So many people show up. You'll see Indians, you'll see doctors, you'll see people you don't know, and they're acting as your guides, but they'll be drawn into you. I have many precipitation cards with people I do not know, and those are spirit loved ones that are helping, guiding. Now with the flame cards, of course, it comes out smoky. I had a horse on one of mine. I love horses. I'm a Sagittarian, which is half horse. And I had a nice horse on one of mine. And that was like a gray, smoky looking horse. So we'll just try it and see what we can get. Both cards what?
Both cards at this time.
Yeah, on your solar plexus. Yeah.
Did you ever own a horse?
No, I never did, but I used to ride them a lot. I used to go horseback riding a lot. I'd drive for 40 miles to go horseback riding.
At one time I had 13 horses.
The water for precipitation should be lukewarm. Now this is a little chilly, so I'm going to go out in the kitchen and get a glass of warm, hot water and dump it in here to make it lukewarm. No, it's my tape player, I think. I think I've run out of tape and didn't know it.